the yellow jacket marshal behind a Ford Cougar. Back to the bird on top of the tyres here. Oh, flying down into the grass. And as they say, the early bird gets the worm. Oh, I'm here all day, guys. It's going to be great. No worries. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning from a very not so sunny Nürburgring today. As you can see, we are in for some weather today for sure. We have first of all got the Lotus Cup, though I think they might just miss the weather, although we said that as older, and within one formation lap it was like a river out there. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. As you can see, lots of people in the crowd right now anticipating the racing action. The early bird gets the worm, as they say. The early bird will get all of the action. You can see that there has been a lot of rain overnight. The track is dry for the most part, but there are some wet patches. This is going to be very interesting today. Fair play to everybody who is indeed here already at the Nürburgring. They are going to catch all of the very early action. That is for certain. Actually, you can see here, sector number 1 is very wet indeed. But we're expecting rain all day today. It's going to rain all day. It's going to be one of those where it's just going to be on and off, off and on, off and on. All of that good stuff. So it should be an interesting day's racing, to say the very least. But first up then is the Lotus Cup, which yesterday was an incredible race, especially for P2, not so much for P1. Tamas Vizin was off into the distance. He was just loving life, really. And I've actually got a shout out from the Spicy Boys to Bence Ballo as well. So yeah, shout out from the Spicy Boys, Bence. I don't know, mate. I just got told to say that, so there you go. Here is your grid then for round number 3, or race number 6. Tamas Vizin is on pole position with Bence Ballo just in behind. Nikolai Ibsen and Daniel Palmer then are in 3rd and 4th. Can Palmer potentially get up into the lead? That was even quicker. The names are coming across the screen even faster today, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with them this early in the morning, I'm afraid. But yeah, there's all of your drivers on your screen. Maybe we'll get them up again later on with a little bit slower, and then we can go through them properly. But we will see them on screen, actually on the grid in a minute anyway, so we'll go through it that way. But yeah, super speed early in the morning. Not had my Weetabix yet, guys. It's not super commentator yet. As we got a couple of lads then just chilling, watching, waiting for the cars to come out. And as you can see, they are all lining up on the grid. So not long to go here. Tamas Vizin yesterday then took full advantage of the fact that Bence Ballo got held up into turn number 1. Bence went down to P4, and then he had to fight his way back up into P3, and then it took him about 7 laps to get past Daniel Palmer, who indeed wasn't even able to hold on to P3 in the end, actually, because Jason McNulty put his car up, and that's the happiest I've seen someone on the podium for a very long time. So it's great to see. Also, although Tamas Vizin was very animated himself. So yesterday's race was very interesting indeed. Factor in that there is some moisture on the circuit right now, then this is kind of very much an unknown commodity today. So it should be interesting, should be fun. Ultimately, it's race cars on a racetrack, which is what we're all here for, right? So that is our P1, the Hungarian. It's always a Hungarian in this championship, is Tamas Vizin. Current champion of the series. Has it hanging over his head that Bance Ballo is a double champion from the previous 2 years, but didn't race last season. But yesterday, indeed, put all those to bed. Bance Ballo then is in P2, representing the, as they say, quote unquote, the Spicy Boys. But then got Nikolai Ibsen. We'll be hoping to do a little bit better than yesterday. Just fell back ever so slightly, but didn't race out in Zolder, so maybe a little bit of race rust. Okay, qualifying was really good from him. And then we've got Daniel Palmer, who finished 4th in the end yesterday, but was in P2 for the majority of the race. We'll be looking to try and take advantage of the straight line speed advantage of the car, down in towards turn number 1, and try and get up ahead. So we've got someone trying to do a Yui. Paul Marichal in the number 52 from the Netherlands. Again, he'll be looking to do a little bit better than yesterday. Sort of fell backwards, to be honest. Thierry Verheist, it's not Verheist, it's Verheist. I've been told off, it's Verheist. Oh, a little wink, love it. Love a little wink. On the big screen again. Sven Pettersson in the number 88, the second Swede on the grid. Giving a little wave there, nice. And then for me, driver of the day yesterday, Jason McNulty, may have a slight hangover from the champagne yesterday. Certainly enjoyed himself, that's for sure. Here in race number 2. Rainer Borgens then in the number 55. Oh, another wink as well. Love a wink. Cameraman stays just that, yeah, just enough time for it to become really awkward. That's what we really enjoy from the cameraman in the Lotus Cup. Just stays there long enough for it to become very awkward. And then you get a second wink and it just becomes a little bit weird, and that's the just beauty of being a cameraman, I guess. We've got the board waiver as well, given a second opportunity this weekend. He's waiting. Let's see the technique then from our board waiver, as we have the lead singer from ZZ Top in the crowd, a Ferrari fan. And we just missed a technique there of the 30-second board waiver. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're about to go on to the formation lap then for the Lotus Cup Europe. Race number 2 for the weekend. Normally they're the last race of the weekend, but they're the first of the Sunday today. So normally they're right at the end of the day. And, well, right at the start. Look at the heat haze. It's really early in the morning here. It's like 9 a.m. local time. As the green flag is waved. Different flag waiver today. Technique. Yeah, we'll call that technique 9 a.m. flag waving. Pretty lethargic. But ultimately, the job is being done. That's all it needs to be worried about right now. So hopefully we might be able to have a look at the official grid graphic here as they go through the lap, just to give you a visual representation. As we head on our formation up again, getting heat into the tyres is going to be absolutely key for this, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. It takes normally a couple of laps before when they do qualifying. So for a race, yeah, you've got to try and utilise the formation up as best you possibly can. As you see the castle in the background. Say it's got the potential for today to be really, really nice, but ultimately, from the weather reports we have, it just isn't. But then again, as I've told you many times this weekend, I am from the UK. Us trying to predict weather is impossible. We're not very good at that. So it's supposed to rain this morning, then be sunny for like early afternoon, and then rain for the rest of the evening. So yeah, I think we might just about get away with a dry race here for the Lotus. Oh, and I got the answer about the Lotus, Lotus-I, Lotuses. The plural for Lotus is Lotus. So I did get an answer. So very handy. As they come up to round the final corner. We will be going 2 by 2. The lights will go green. We will have our race. Been a super interesting weekend for Francois de Witter, who was just on board there. The rear of the car still an absolute mess. But the fact that that car's been out there for both races is actually a huge testament to him. But here we go, we've got a standing start, as it is race number 2. And you just saw there on the back of the sort of baby blue car, TobyGoodmanRacing.com. Go check out the website. So they do indeed pop themselves into their grid slots. We're about to go racing here, and this is going to be interesting then. Who's going to get the best start off the line? Who's going to get the best reactions? Yesterday, Bence Ballo got held up and left behind, really, by everybody. Is it going to be the same today in terms of it being a standing start? As the green flag is about to be waved. There we go. It is waved. We're waiting for those red lights. The red lights are appearing on screen. There is 5 red lights. We're about to go green light racing, and we are green light racing. I'll tell you what, the back end of the grid is a very good start. But as we come then down in towards turn number 1, Nikolai Ibsen has got an absolute flyer. He's got the inside line. Tamas Vizin closes him off. And actually, as you can see then, under braking, it looks like Bence Ballo is going to hold on to P2. And he was like 10 seconds behind Tamas Vizin yesterday, or 12 seconds, should I say. And he closed up to it, be around about 8 seconds by the end of the race. And it was only done in about 5 laps. So if he can hold on to P2 right now, there's every reason to suggest that he has got the pace to go out and win this race. He was definitely the fastest on circuit when he had clear air, but he was just held up for a while here. Nikolai Ibsen then has got a better start today. He's up to P3, had a real moment for P1, but unfortunately just didn't have the bravery and the braking, wasn't able to make it stick, let's say. Marichal then making a little bit of an error there, and actually just about holds on. Jean-Pierre Genot-Prachet just in behind in the open top. Jason McNulty's made a move up the order. Good to see David McNulty in the grid as well. He's in the purple and gold, whereas Jason's in the gold and purple. Yep, I know. I reckon their children won a competition to design a livery. That's the conclusion I've come to today. But, you know, it is what it is. Up towards that final chicane again, it is a dry circuit, but there's loads of wet areas on the circuit. As we've got a late lunge up the inside, and this is very reminiscent of what we saw yesterday. Daniel Palmer, though, instead of holding on to P3 yesterday when Jason McNulty made the move, he's actually in P4 because Nikolai Ibsen's got off the line beautifully well in the Verheest racing car with the red stripes down the middle. As we come across the line, then it is going to be Vizin that leads, Bence Ballo second. In third position then is Nikolai Ibsen. And then we've got Palmer, Jason McNulty just in behind Marichal. Jean-Pierre Genot-Prachet then has made huge inroads today. And as you can see, the clouds starting to form over the circuit here. It's not looking like it's going to crack and be sunny at all at this stage. And I'm just wondering if there's the potential for some rain. Georgi then in the number 113. Georgi Ballo. Oh, almost a bit of a tangle there. Again, it's very moist through this part of the circuit. It is effectively still wet. 3 into 1 did not go there, that's for certain. But they're all still going. It's Dave McNulty in number 7. Again, purple with gold trim, white bottom. Currently repping for what would be P11. Nice little move up the inside there. Great stuff from our Swede Sven Pettersson. So he's made a move up the inside of the open top car. This is still going on then. Oh dear. Georgi Ballo. And is that car going to be able to get going? Yeah, no problem. It's a Lotus. It's a British car. We're fine, don't worry about it. It looks like he's just kind of missed his, he's missed the braking point there. And then the car's gone all the way around. Actually, that probably was done on entry, to be fair. But we're going again. Not a good weekend, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Yeah, dropped it. And stop the car. Only a 180, not a 360 in there, so we can't really give it any more than a 6. But it was a very good landing. Now, the long road of trying to catch up to the cars in front, which will be easy to start off with, but will get increasingly more difficult. As we see here, McNulty has got up into P4 then. Can he potentially go and chase down Ibsen for another podium today? Great to see it, that's for sure. But one position advanced already, and if yesterday's anything to go by, well, the moves we've done here, by the way. Jason McNulty just gets faster and faster and faster as Marichal then closes the door on Sven Pettersson. The battle for what is effectively P6 just in behind here. Marichal just about holding on. But yeah, Jason McNulty is now back down to P5. As Sven Pettersson makes a late lunge up the inside, potentially. And again, Marichal just about hanging on. And if you're worried about whether they were actually going to race each other today, considering the track conditions, well, worry not, because they are not they are not giving an inch today. This is great. So as they make the long run then up towards that chicane at the end of this lap. Still 25 minutes to go, plenty of time. And McNulty just not really that close here. So here we go. This is the original move. So he makes it into the final chicane. This is on the previous lap, of course. Goes very late on the brakes, and actually, I thought he was going to go very deep into the corner, but doesn't. But ultimately, wasn't far enough ahead of Palmer. Palmer's car's just a little bit faster. You'll see the difference, like, Palmer's car's a little bit smaller, so it's a little bit nippier in a straight line. Very similar to Vizin compared to Bent's Ballo. Or it's Balog, but I keep saying Ballo. I think you can say it both ways, to be honest. Running down then in towards turn number 1. Palmer, yeah, hitting his mark relatively nicely. The real winner in this situation is Ibsen. So Ibsen currently 10 seconds off the lead of this race, but more importantly, he is in a podium spot, but with 4 seconds to play with. Front 2 are off on their own, aren't they? Tamas Vizin and Bent Ballo, you expect them to be at the front, and they duly are delivering that. 1.3 seconds, we're not really seeing them fight for position, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm sure as the race goes on, but Bent's for sure always tends to get faster as the race goes on. Here's a replay from the start then, and where you can see that Vizin gets off the line beautifully well, but ultimately wasn't able to get the power down as well as he would like to. The rear was stepping out, he was sliding along, it was just Tokyo drift all over the show. Nikolai Ibsen in that red striped car on the inside was just not brave enough really, I don't think. Probably could have gone a little bit braver under braking and squeezed Bent Ballo out wide. But yeah, didn't do that. It's early in the day. The track temperature's cold. It's fully understandable. Daniel Palmer there nearly going to sneak up around the outside for P3. Jason McNulty closed in Marichal. It was 3 wide. Georgi tried to make it 4 wide in the background. Luckily, it didn't quite work out. But yeah, you could look at that race start there 100 times and you'd find something new, because that was pretty frantic. The gap now is definitely under 1.1 seconds. We know how good the car in behind the number 95 is in terms of braking. In terms of straight line speed, we know that this car here has the edge. So sector 1 is going to be very strong for Bent Ballo, but then the rest of the circuit is going to be very strong for Tamas Vizin. So it's all about really maximising the car through here. As Jean-Pierre Genot-Praché then currently residing in P9. Robin Nilsson just in behind him in the earth-coloured car. And they're in the top 10 as it stands. Borgens then is in 11th position. And we've got David McNulty in 12th, Andrzejczyk in P13. And then we've got DeWitter down in P14. Toby Goodman in 15th. We've got Mick Edwards and Bailey Edwards in 16th and 17th. So great news for them, that's obviously for sure. Then we've got Bashir currently in P18. Natalie Genot-Prachet is in P19. Leyland is in P20. And then we've got Georgi Bentz. Sorry, not just, yeah, Georgi Ballo currently in 21st, but not showing a time behind everyone. So I'm wondering if that potentially has been a retirement. Here we go. McNulty not quite close enough here to make a move under braking. Again, was very patient yesterday, didn't try and force anything. And ultimately that paid off in his favour. But today, if he wants to close up for a potential podium, not only has he got to get past Palmer, as there's a potential door open. No, not quite wide enough. Yeah, not only does he have to get this move done, but he's got to then catch up 4 seconds up the road. So it's kind of a do or die situation here. You've got to get this move done pretty soon. But we know from what we saw yesterday, Palmer's car is very quick indeed. And I've got a funny suspicion, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to embark upon some weather. Look how dark it is here at the Nürburgring. I think there's going to be some rain dropping down now. And that is going to make it for a very interesting last 20 minutes of this race, that's for certain. Again, they race on hybrid tyres, so they didn't change tyres at Zolder. So I wouldn't imagine that if there's a sprinkle of rain here, they will change tyres here, because at Zolder, it was like they were racing on the sea. It's like a load of jet skis going around. It was not ideal. It was fun to watch, though. In the background, you see that Marichal still holding firm here with Sven Pettersson. Down in towards turn number 6. Indeed, if you were going to continue on the GP layout, you would turn left there, just a little bit further up the road. You don't turn right, you turn left. But just no door opening, no opening appearing here. As the front 2 are very close indeed now. But again, Vizin's got that big long straight to get him out of jail effectively. But we know that Ballo or Bentz is going to stick around. He'll wait, he'll be patient, as that is a red Lotus going out into the kitty litter. That is not where you want to be. And look how late under braking Bentz can go. He's got the overlap here. I think he might be able to work something here. Not squeezed off. He's got the inside line through turn number 2, and they are going to come through 2 by 2. Bentz, though, just runs out of grip onto the curb then for Vizin, and he knows he has to hold on here. Ballo will go late on the brakes here. This is great defensive work from Tamas Vizin. So if he gives up that spot there, that is pretty much race over. So fair play to him again through sector number 1, where Bentz is just so much faster just due to the car. Obviously, the strength of the number 1 car here is the straight line speed. But yeah, to hold on to that position through sector number 1, I thought that was done and dusted. Fair play. And again, you can see that Tamas is just on the limit with the car there, stepping the rear out of it so slightly. It looks cool. Certainly will be pretty frantic inside the car. He's going to have busy hands, that's for certain. And McNulty then has got past Palmer. Here we go then. Can he chase down the potential P3? Oh, here we go. Wow, it was a back marker they had to contend with as well. They were both 2 wide as it was. Then they went 3 wide. McNulty then makes a move up the inside, has the better car in terms of traction under braking, traction on the exit of corners, and then just had enough in hand as he runs wide here. Palmer then trying to maybe find an overlap up the inside, but then ultimately has the outside line. Slides the car out, does McNulty, but we know that he did indeed hold on. Great stuff from these two. These two have been just such a phenomenal pair to watch all weekend. So regardless of the outcome of today's race, or yeah, these two need to take a bow really. Been so entertaining to watch, and this is what the Lotus Cup Europe's all about. There's battles all across the circuit, all different types of cars. It's great. As we've got Ballo then trying to make that move once again. He's got the outside line this time. And Vizin, it will have to dive up the inside if he wants to hold on to this position. I don't think he's quite got the car to do so. And I was wrong. He is going to try and make it here, but I think Bentz Ballo's got the inside line now through turn number 5. Vizin then's got to use that speed advantage here. He's going to be squeezed here for sure, but I think you'll find that Bence Ballo is going to take the lead of this race. Side-by-side action between the two, and the camber of the corner then's going to send Vizin out wide, and Bence Ballo does make the lead, the move for the lead. And he's got a couple of corners here that can really help him out. So if they're this close as they come out of this right-hand, the next corner, the long run up towards that final chicane, I think Tamas may have the run. Remains to be seen. Again, off into the gravel. That may have cost him. That could have cost him. He knows he has to be close to make the move. And I think he's just lost his opportunity of getting back into the lead here. Took too many chances, unfortunately. And Balog then is going to take the lead of this race. He won both races at Zolder late last week, 2 weekends ago. And that is seeming to be the case here today. Right at the death of the weekend's racing, he is going to pick up the victory. Tamas Vizin was absolutely buzzing yesterday with his race victory. And I think you'll find we'll have exactly the same on the podium today if Bence was to go out and win. So he set the move up here into turn number 1, a late move up the inside, but then he had the outside line to work with. But with it being wet conditions there, it means that they're both struggling for traction. And here we go, the impatience showing. So a little bit impatient then for Tamas Vizin, and that's cost him the chance to potentially retake the position up in towards the final chicane. Again, it's starting to darken here at the Nürburgring, as they are now just in behind Nathalie Genot-Prochet. Ballo is definitely going to be held up here. This is perfect for Vizin. Vizin will want to take full advantage of this situation for sure. On the power nice and early, will close in. And then we'll try and open up this right-hander a little bit more so than the black, red and gold. And Tamas Vizin's off the circuit here and just about keeps it in check. That could have been very, could have been very nasty, actually. And it could have been a little trip into the wall there. It wasn't. As Genot-Prochet moves out the way as well, leaves a big old door open up the inside for Vizin. And that, ladies and gentlemen, might be the last opportunity to go out and win this race. So yesterday, Bence was obviously, well, we'll see this again. So he's just tried to outbrake the gold and black car. But ultimately, it's cost him more time and potentially the chance of winning this race. Impatience there, ultimately. And Bence Ballo really has sorted that out yesterday. Didn't have the greatest of days. Probably his own fault. His reactions were not good on the grid. Yeah, we're not good on the grid at all. Yesterday, he went down to 4th position, had to battle his way back up the field. And ultimately, he did get it back up to P2, so it's damage limitation. But today, oh, we've got a black and white flag then for Tamas Vizin. Oh, that is a warning. But ultimately, Bence is not panicked. He's gone back to the drawing board. He got off the line well today. He's piled the pressure on. And he's got into the lead of the race. Leads by 3.7 seconds. The real close battle, well, I was going to say it was a real close battle. Jason McNulty's just lost about a second to Nikolai Ibsen, but he was catching up very quickly indeed. So I reckon McNulty's going to be able to catch up here and potentially battle for a podium again. So we're on board there with Mick Edwards. Mick is the father of the father and son duo of Mick and Bailey. I think Bailey is, he's just behind. He's a position behind, about 4.6 seconds behind. So that must be pretty cool. Going to a race weekend and you're racing against your son. Impressive stuff. Oh, big moment there for Jason McNulty. And there is going to be a brown stain on the driver's seat of that Lotus for sure. And as you can see here, Palmer trying to send one round the outside. They've got the long run now down towards the chicane at the end of the lap with only 13 minutes to go. And Palmer then runs it off proper wide. So here we go, coming towards the left-hander. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there is some moisture on the AstroTurf there. Getting a little bit brave was McNulty there for sure. I don't think he's going to be brave enough to go out that wide once again. Yeah, it is definitely wet out there. That's certainly how you figure out the limits of the race circuit, right? these two then trying to potentially swap paint with each other. And you see that Palmer will want to get his own back for yesterday. It's roles reversed for sure. McNulty just about hanging on. This is giving Nikolai Ibsen, though, the chance to just drive away. He's now nearly 7 seconds ahead in that podium battle. I think Palmer may have thought about chucking one up the inside there, but definitely wasn't close enough. Through the right-hander then. As this time it was Daniel Palmer's chance to, or turn to drift around the corner. Again, looks really cool. Not the fastest way around the circuit, as we all know. So we've got on board now with Toby Goodman and number 85. Battling with Kai Lehman. As we come then down in towards turn number 1. As we've got a green flag, that's handy to know. Didn't realise we weren't under green flag, so there must be something on the circuit that needed removing. Very late in the brake zone for Goodman. Kai Lehman, though, not excuse me, it's not going to lose the position. And Toby Goodman comes through. So it's actually the lap Lehman, to be fair. The battle didn't last as long as I thought it might do, but it was a battle all the same. Bent Ballo, by the way, just losing a little bit of time to Tamas Vizin. I guess that would have to do with lap vehicles, dealing with lap vehicles. So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it. McNulty now 1.1 second clear of Palmer. Ibsen now 6.5 seconds clear. 10 minutes to go in this race. If McNulty wants that podium, he's got to absolutely fly now. Marichal and Verheest, they're pretty close to each other as well. Currently battling for what will be a top 7. The Dutch and the Belgian drivers. So if the Lotus Europe Cup isn't enough to battle for in terms of points, Belgium versus the Netherlands. It's a battle of the ages. So I'm sure they'll be giving absolutely everything. As we're on board with Robin Nilsson, again the earth-coloured car, as I like to call it. One of 3 Swedes on the grid. Very multinational grid is the old Lotus Cup Europe, which is always good. As Nikolai Ibsen then is in P3, the Danish driver. I think they're just about going to miss out on the rain here, aren't they? But it is dark here. That rain is coming down very, very soon. We've got 5 different classes of car racing today. I think we've got 3 more classes to go actually after this. And it is going to be wetter than an otter's pocket for sure. Geno Prochet, the pink car there, the lights look so cool on that car. And there is the dark skies in the background. Where does the sky start? Where does it end? Well, it's a lot closer today. We're on board with our race leader then. 8 minutes, 50 seconds to go. Righting the wrongs from yesterday. It's going to be roles reversed between Bent and indeed Tamas Vizin. Tamas was so animated on the podium yesterday. I wonder if we're going to see the same from the championship rival in terms of Bent Ballo. And just a little backstory if you've only just stepped in and only just watching the Lotus Cup Europe for the very first time. So right now you're on board with Bent Ballo, who leads the championship. He was a 2018-2019 champion. So he won it 2 years in a row. And then because of COVID last year, was not able to take part in the championship. So Tamas Vizin was the champion. And ultimately, we've been waiting for them both to race against each other for the entirety of the last 3 years. We've wanted them to go up against each other, and well, we finally got to see it this season. Bent Ballo currently leading the way, and he won 2 races at Zolder as well. Vizin then currently in P2. So this is what everyone wants. Currently the 2 best drivers in terms of this championship going toe-to-toe, and they just keep taking chunks out of each other. figuratively. So it's around about 4.7 seconds now, the advantage. So the gap is coming out ever so slightly as well. Nikolai Ibsen then being in P3, but this is going to get really close here. We're on board then with David McNulty, but Jason McNulty, currently in 4th position, is closing up. So I think there is the potential here, if we're lucky, to see a battle for that podium. I don't want to jinx it. I think that there is the potential. We'll see. Nikolai Ibsen is going to be right in the background here for P3. Tamas Vizin just losing a bit more ground. But yeah, Ibsen and McNulty, those two are very close indeed. As we're on board with Daniel Palmer, this is a 5th position driver. Sven Pettersson maybe catching up? No, I don't think so. McNulty just taking another couple of tenths then out of Ibsen's advantage in P3. And with 6 minutes 30 seconds to go, this could be on. It could be on. McNulty's got to put in some of the best laps he's done all weekend. As he comes across the line now. And he's, oh no, round about the same. Okay, round about the same. Nothing really to write home about there, if we're going to be completely honest. As we've got everybody and their brother coming through turn number 1 at this stage. Oh, Verhees there, cutting the nose off of Toby Goodman. That is high risk, high reward. Well, there's no real reward, actually. That was just only a risk. As Marichel's now trying to do exactly the same. This is their battling for position. No, don't hold your punches. Robin Nielsen comes through as well. Giano Prache, Natalie in the pink mobile, also coming through here as well. Jason McNulty not catching up now, really, to Ibsen. 5 seconds, the advantage. So it looks like Benz Ballo is going to pick up the victory. Vizin then currently P2, 4.3 seconds the advantage. Ibsen around about 30 seconds further back. Jason McNulty then 4.8 seconds back behind Ibsen. So that battle for P3, I feel like it's a bit more wishful thinking than anything else at this point. Daniel Palmer, if anything, he's the one catching up. So Palmer looking to maybe close back in on McNulty. We've got Sven Pettersson in 6th position, Verhees in 7th, Marichal 8th. We've got then Robin Nielsen in P9. Borgens then is in P10. 34 minutes to go here, so we've got ourselves maybe 3 laps remaining of this race, depending where the leader indeed is on circuit. Again on board then with Giano Prache. So currently down in P15. Here is P2, Tamas Vizin. So as they come across the line now, I guess we're going to have 3 more laps remaining now from this point, actually. So yeah, around about 3 laps remain of this race of the weekend for the Lotus Cup Europe. And again, it's early finish for them today. Normally they're the last car class to go out every weekend. But this weekend, they're the first one, or the second car. I think there was a BMW M2 race this morning, actually. But yeah, they've got their race out the way early today. And that means they can all go home early if they wish. But I'm sure with the plethora of races we've got in store for you today, in terms of DTM Trophy. We've also got the Touring Wagon Legends, the Ferrari Challenge. We've got all sorts of racing today. I'm sure they'll stick around. I'm certainly sticking around. There's Verheesten. In behind Sven Pettersson. Pettersson just holding the two stripy boys at bay. Come up the end of sector number 1 with 2 minutes remaining. Still Bence Ballo leading the way. Two Hungarians, of course, at the front end. These two are the stars of the show most weeks. We had Jason McNulty gate crashing the podium yesterday, and it was a very welcome one. He was very excitable on the old podium, which was great to see. Nikolai Ibsen, though, is going to be the driver that gets onto the podium today, if all goes well. Bence Ballo just runs a little bit wide there through turn 1. Not going to lose too much time, though. There's multiple different lines through there, just because of the camber of the circuit. But he's just starting his second to last lap. And you just got to keep it between the mayo and the mustard at this stage, and you're golden. You see that Vizin really is still pushing that car, taking chances then with the white lines. And we've seen already, if you run onto the AstroTurf, how wet it is. Those white lines are still going to be relatively wet. So the tarmac dries quicker than the white lines. As we come up then towards the right-hander, before they exit onto that back straight, as De Witte slicing and dicing up, making some positions up, or well, lapping the car, to be fair. And again, it's been an interesting weekend, a very interesting weekend for De Witte. Currently P13, but the weekend just didn't start very well. In qualifying, binned it, lost pretty much the whole back of the car. The fact that that car's been able to race twice this weekend is actually quite remarkable, so I tip my hat for that for sure. It's very typical. But yeah, it could have just could have been a bit better, I would say. So 26 seconds left on the clock. We've got one more lap remaining here, and if there's no mistakes made, it will be all Bence Ballo's to take. And he'll be very happy with his performance this weekend. Again, yesterday maybe a little bit disappointed, but ultimately he put on a show for the fans. Wasn't able to get the race victory, but today, once he got into the lead, took his time, but once he got into the lead, hasn't really looked back. Back on board then with Toby Goodman. You've got Mick Edwards just in the background in number 34. So sweeping down here right, such a beautiful looking car. And then you've got the Genot Prachets, both battling each other here. We've got Jean-Pierre and Natalie. Natalie in the pink, Jean-Pierre in the yellow. Just a little bit of late braking then, towards that final chicane. Through he will come. As they will indeed all now start their final laps as well. But it's all about Bence Ballo here, up towards that final chicane. It's been a stellar performance today. Looks like the rain is just about going to hold off. We did have a bit of a fright that it could come in during this race, but it hasn't. But it looks like it's going to be in for the rest of the day. There's a flash of the lights then. Bence is going to be happy for sure. Around the final corner he will come. And well, he's got the rest of the day to enjoy this now, because across the line he comes and picks up the big points, picks up the race victory. In second position, and it will be Tamas Vizin. So it's roles reversed from yesterday. And then we're going to wait another about 40 seconds, actually. Nikolai Ibsen will be the next car to come across the line in terms of position. And we'll pick up that P3. Here we go into that final chicane. It's going to be a podium then for Nikolai Ibsen. Jason McNulty, you'll see the purple car in the background, tried to close the gap. Just wasn't able to do so. All the hard work done early in this race then for the Dane. And brilliant stuff then for Nikolai Ibsen, and we'll get a podium today. Congratulations to him. Jason McNulty then will come across the line in at P4. Daniel Palmer will finish in P5. It's then going to be Sven Pettersson in P6. Verheest is going to finish at P7, just about. Marichal trying his best to get the spot, but not quite going to work out. So Verhees does indeed take P7. Marichal P8, Robin Nilsson P9, and it's going to be Borgens who finishes in P10. Here's Jean-Pierre Genot-Prochet. He's going to finish in P11. We're going to have Andrzejczyk, who's already finished, finishing P12. De Witte is going to finish in P13. David McNulty is going to finish in 14th. Natalie Genot-Prochet is going to finish in 15th. Toby Goodman in 16th position. Mick Edwards, Bailey Edwards are both going to finish in 17th and 18th position, respectively. And then a final couple of cars on the grid. And Lucas Pscher is going to finish in 19th position. And Leyland is going to finish down in 20th spot. So there we go. It's all about this man here, though. Race winner. Absolutely deserves it for sure. So smashed the weekend to pieces, to be completely honest. Really has done superbly well. As you see him crossing the line then, the team all excited. And ultimately rounds off a very successful weekend. Into the pits we come in towards victory lane, as they say. Well, there we go. Lotus Cup Europe done and dusted for the weekend. And well, you're looking at your race winner then, Bence Ballo. Yesterday didn't quite go as well as you would expect, but a P2 and a P1 off the back of a P1 and a P1 at Zolder. I'm sure he'll be very, very happy. Of course, it's always the Hungarian duo at the front. It will be Tamas Vizin, who you'll see in the background, potentially coming into victory lane as well. He will pick up P2, and then it will be indeed P3 for Nikolai Ibsen. Hopefully you've enjoyed the coverage this weekend. We'll be back next time with some more Lotus Cup Europe action. I've been Luke Crane, and I shall see you all next time out.